A-line gown with pockets and collar, and I'm making use of these two fabric. I'm using this silk fabric then with doll face. I'm mixing the two together. So for the measurement I'll be using is from shoulder to nipple point is 12, shoulder to under bust is 16, shoulder to half length is 18, the hip circumference is 51, the bust circumference is 49, under bust circumference is 43, half length is 43 as well. Then the shoulder is 17, sleeve is 17 and 14. So those are the measurement I need for this tutorial. So first of all, I'll measure the length of the gown. Sorry, I didn't mention that. The length of the gown is 44. So 44 inches. Then I'm using 2 inches for my folding. But I'm starting from this side because of the pattern of the fabric. I'm starting from here. So sorry, I have to measure this way. 44. 44, then this is the 2 inches seam allowance, and from here I'll measure the nipple points of 12 inches, the under bust is 16, and the A is starting from the under bust, so I don't really need the half length measurement, which is 18. So I'll just make use of the hip measurement. So I'm going to measure the hip on 24.5. So I'll rule those ones out first. After ruling everything out, I'll go ahead and measure the shoulder. The shoulder is 17 divided by 4. Please note that I folded my fabric into two. So divided by 4 will give, sorry, shoulder divided by 2. Sorry, shoulder divided by 2. That's 8.5. Then the circumference of the bust, that bust is 49. So divided by 4. Then I'll add 2 inches for my seam. Then for the under bust is 43 divided by 4. Then I'll add my 2 inches seam allowance. So like I said I'm not making use of the half length because the A shape is starting from the under bust. So now for the hip circumference is 51 divided by 4. Then I will add 2 inches to my seam. So let me first stop here and connect this line before I get to the down part of the body. So now I'm going to transfer the hip measurement to the down part of the body, to the gown length. The hip measurement is 51. Then I added 2 inches for the allowance for the hip. So because it is A-line gown, I'm going to add another 3 inches for the A. So now I'll connect this from the hip. I'm connecting it to the 3 inches. Now after connecting it to the A, I'll move back to the shoulder to measure out my armhole. So for the armhole from this shoulder, I'll measure 7 inches. So let me rule out the 7 inches first. Then I'll connect the shoulder to the 7 inches. So after that, from the 7, I'll measure 4.5. Here, at this point, I'll go in with 1 inch. Then from here as well, I'll measure ½ inch. So now the next thing is to connect everything together. So, and whatever I have here, that's 12.25, which is the circumference of the bust. I'll add the allowance to it. Then I'll add 1 inch for the slant. You know, there's a slant at the to make the armhole. So that's that for the. So now this is the back bodies, not the front bodies. I cut the back bodies first because there's no opening at the front, at the back at all. So the opening is going to be at the front, and that's where the. So now after cutting out the back bodies, I placed the back bodies on the remaining fabric, and I left, because I left 1 inch at the front because there's opening there. I left 1 inch at the front. Then I cut out the same shape with what I cut for the back bodies. So now for the neckline, let me shift this a bit. So for the neckline, measure 3 inches, then by one, I'm cutting both together at first. So 3 by 1, then the shoulder, I'll measure 1 inch here, and I will slant it to the neckline. Then again at the gown length for the neckline of the front, I've already measured 1 inch, but that's for both, for the back. So now I'm coming down with 3 inches for the front. Then I'll curve the shape.
The Bluetooth device is connected successfully.
Then I will notch the 1 inch I gave as allowance at the front. After cutting the neckline of my front, I place the back on it. So now I want to notch where the pocket is going to be fixed. Now I told you the half length is 18 inches. So this is the 18. So I'll just make it come down by 1 inch so the pockets can be by this side. Notice the half length, so you'll be able to fix it in through that place. So now let me roll that out. Then by 7 inches. So I'm measuring 7, that's here. So that's where I'm going to fix my pocket. So this is optional, it depends on where you really want the pocket to be. Some makes it lower than that, but you can't make it higher than this. So for the sleeve, I folded my fabric into four because I want to cut the two sleeves together. And I don't want to make use of this down part. I don't need this edge here. So I'm starting from here, and the length of the sleeve is 17, and I added 1 inch to it. Sorry, 17. So this is the 1 inch allowance. I'll measure 5. Now measure 2 again. I'll measure 10. So for the neckline, after coming down with 3 inches, I still measure another 8 inches from there because the two are going to lap on each other, just like normal shirt gown. So, and from that 3 inches, I shaped it to the 8 inches I measured. So I'm going to do likewise for the additional fabric I'm putting on it. So now, after shaping out the neckline shape that I need, so I'll measure 3 inches for the folding of the shape. So I'll measure 3 inches all through to the length of the gown. So now, after cutting it out, so I'll fold in half here, and I'll use half to turn this inside. So I'm cutting 2 of this because they are going to lap on each other. For the 5 inches I measured earlier, that's the bicep, and the total circumference there is 17 inches. So divided by 2. Then I'm adding 1 inch for my seam. Then the 14 inches is for the elbow, and that's 7 inches divided by 2. That's 7 inches. Then I'm adding 1 inch to it. So for this, the length of the sleeve, sorry, I didn't mention that, it is 12. Then I'm adding 1 inch to it. So at first, let me connect this because it's straight sleeve. So now I've ruled it to this place. I just added 1 inch, just the way I did for the armhole the other time. You know, this is 8.5. I measured 8.5 and I added 1 inch. Then I did that the same thing for the allowance. So now this is the 2 inches. The reason why I measured that 2 inches is just to start my shape. So after cutting this out, I tried to reshape it more. Then I tried to reshape this place with half inch. Then I ironed half inch inside. You can see I ironed the half inch. Then I gummed my paper stapler. So I'm starting from the wrong side because I'm not using any lining for this. So I'm going to use this to turn the neck. So now after turning this side, I'm just going to stitch the half that I ironed. So now I'm placing the two on each other. I'm placing them on each other and I'll stitch it down. So I'm starting the stitch from here. For the neckline, I measured, I've joined the shoulder together, so I measured the circumference I have here, which is 8 inches together. Now I put it 8 inches, that will give me 16. And I cut this collar shape, I cut 17 inches. I cut through of that by 1.5. So I'm stitching the two together. I'll put them to form each other. I've done my stay on it. I'll use them to form each other. So after stitching the collar together, I'll stitch it on the wrong side of the boot. The wrong side. Now I'm turning it to the right side. I'm going to after joining the back and the front bodies together, I'm going to fix the pocket. But before I do that, I made for the pocket side, I measured 12 by 9. The length is 12 and the width is 9. And I just gave it a dog shape down here. So I'm going to stitch this together. Starting from here, I will leave half inch I'll leave half inch here. Now after stitching it round, I stopped there. I measured from where I started. I measured 7 inches. That's the allowance I gave for the pocket. So I measured 7 inches. So I stopped at that 7 inches. Fit the pocket. I'm going to turn the main bodies of the gown. I'll turn it to the wrong side. Open the front. Do it both front and back. And I'll launch where the pocket is in. So I've ended up fixing one side, so for the other side, I'm going to pick the two together in the same.
Did you see it? Good. Interesting.
Steve, I'm going to fix the band, and for the band, I measured 9 inches. That's for the length of the band, then with the length of the circumference of the sleeve. So, and from that 9 inches, I folded out the inside. So I'm using this to turn the. So I'll first stitch from the wrong side. And after that,
and also